gentlemen, welcome back to Tanks Gaming. Today we are going to do something a little different. I've been asked a lot about Switzerland and how it goes, and some of my community contributors, one in my community, I think it was Hilter, suggested I should do like a Swiss Tuesday or like a History Tuesday or something like that. So we're gonna give it a try like this. And we are going to start with history of Switzerland. So on the 1st of August 1291, the cantons Uri, Schwyz and Unterwalden. Cantons are basically provinces, kind of ish. They united themselves into a fighting force, the Old Swiss Confederacy, and defended the peace upon the death of Emperor Rudolf I of Habsburg. And yeah, after that, they actually managed to create the Old Swiss Confederacy. By 1353, the three original cantons, which was, like I said, Uri, Schwyz and Unterwalden, they have been joined by Glarus, Zug, which are very close. Like they all border each other, so to say, and also the city-states of Lucerne, Zurich, and Bern. Which then was called forming the Old Federation. They persisted through much of during the 15th century. At the Battle of Sempach in 1386, the Swiss defeated the Habsburgers, gaining increased autonomy with the Holy Roman Empire. In the 1400s, Zurich was expelled, which was called the Old Zurich War, because of some territory disputes over Toggenburg, if I could read that correctly and remember that correctly. After that, the Confederation's power and wealth increased significantly with victories over Charles the Bold of the Burgundy during the 1470s and the success of the Swiss mercenaries. We talk about the Swiss mercenaries. I love that part of my history. Well, it's actually a bit morbid, but still. The Swiss mercenaries, they were called Reisläufer, which comes from the old German word Reise, which means marching. Reise today is if you travel somewhere, which means Reise. But back then it apparently meant marching on somewhere. Apparently. I don't know. It is what I read up on the internet. So yeah, the Swiss, about to the end of the 13th century, the House of Habsburg, which are basically the Austrians, coveted the area around Gotthard Pass. That's where I actually did my basic training. As it offered the shortest pass to Italy, of course. However, the Confederates, Uri, Schwyz and Unterwalden, which had formed their confederacy in 1291, we held imperial freedom letters from former Habsburg emperors, which gave us the autonomy and stuff. And I just realized that's not the right article I'm looking for. I'm looking for the mercenary one. Which one is it? Because that's the interesting battle of the Rote Turm, Schlacht am Moorgarten, which is awesome. But we're gonna come back to that one. Where were we? There we are. Yeah. So the Swiss, because it was mostly a rural territory, not a lot of jobs, and it was the end of the 100-Year War in Europe. Most of the Swiss became mercenaries, or like I said, Reisläufers in the late medieval Europe. And we were very, very sought after because we had like the spear and pike and halberds, and we did determined mass attack in deep columns. And we could be hired, or it was very attractive to hire us, because hiring the Swiss mercenaries or the Reisläufers was because they're already made up contingents. They could simply be contracted with the local government of the various Swiss cantons. So we had the cantons had this form of militia system. In which our soldiers were bound to serve and were trained, equipped to do so. Some Swiss also hired themselves out individually to smaller bands. But mostly you could, like, I don't know, like the Italians come, I need, like, I don't know, 2 companies, and they hire them from Canton Uri, for example, because that's the closest one to the Italian border back then. I guess that was how it worked. The Swiss warriors and the Swiss cantons gradually developed a reputation through Europe as skilled soldiers. Due to our successful defense of the liberties against the Austrian Habsburgers overlords, starting as early as the late 13th century, including a marking upset victory over heavily armored knights at Moorgarten and Laupen. That's where we're gonna go next, to the Battle of Moorgarten. This was furthered by later successful campaigns and explorations, mainly into Italy. The Burgundy Wars, no, that goes too much into the detail. So yeah. Here we go. The native term Reisläufer literally means one who goes to war. It's derived from Middle High German Reise, meaning military campaign, which maybe back then it meant that. Like I said before, today Reise just means traveling. I'll do if I go on a Reise to Australia, for example. I'm traveling to Australia. The Swiss were, with their head-down attack in huge columns with a long pike, refusal to take prisoners. So yeah, we slaughtered basically everything we came encountered. If we took something, we slaughtered everything. Apparently, I don't know. I don't remember. I wasn't alive back then. And consistent records of victory. We were greatly feared and admired. Especially, for instance, at the Machiavelli addresses their system of combat in the length of a chapter. Oh, that's just like from different books where the Swiss mercenaries are mentioned. Although the Swiss mercenaries often were referred as pikemen, the Swiss mercenary units also contained halberds. 16th century, well into the 16th century, as well as crossbows, bows, skirmishers, and crude firearms when they came available, which would be used in front of the rapid advance of the attack column. Like I said before, the young man who went to fight for and sometimes die in foreign service had several incentives, limited economy options in still largely rural cantons, like I said before. Of course, there was the adventure, pride in reputations of being a Swiss soldier, and finally the pure love for combat. So apparently we were kind of like the Central European Vikings kind of thing-ish. Apparently we loved to fight back then. Apparently that still slumbers in us. Nah, I don't know. Well, I enjoyed my time in the army, so maybe. Who knows? But to go back to the famous battle, which basically has been reputed as not completely historical true anymore, or they are not quite sure if it really happened or not, was the Schlacht von Morgarten, or the Battle of Morgarten. In let me not lie, what was it, 1314? No, not 1314. Well, yeah, my home canton in the 13th centuries, like 1314 around, we actually raided the abbey in Einsiedeln, which was protected by the Habsburger, because we were not happy with the Habsburgers. So yeah, that's like what, 15 minutes by car from where I live. What would that be? We had to walk up there in school, like on a school hike. It's like not even half a day walk to get there. So okay, to the battle. Frederick's brother Leopold of Austria led a large army, including a small number of knights, to crush the rebellious confederates, so the Swiss. He planned a surprise attack from north via the Aggery Sea, also known as Lake Aggery or Lake Aggery. It's a lake in the mountain. And the Morgarten Pass, counting on complete victory. Johannes von Winterthur's Chronicles of the Battle puts the Habsburger forces at 20,000, although the number is now believed to be inaccurate. In the 19th century account by Rudolf Hanhart states that there were 9,000 men in the Habsburg's army, while historian Hans Deberg states that in 1907 that the Habsburg's army consists only of 2,000 to 3,000 men. That these were mainly well-trained and equipped knights is said by Delbrück's estimate. By Kelly de Vries. Holy crap. I read everything before, but I can't not really get it out that night. The Confederates were supported by the Confederates Uri, who feared for their autonomy. They were not supported by the Confederates of Unterwalden, which expected the army to approach from the west near the village of Art, where they had erected fortifications. The city of the Confederate army is also disputed. The size of the Confederate army is also disputed, which estimates ranging from 1,500 to around 3,000 to 4,000. Nevertheless, regardless of their size, the Confederate militia lacked the training of the Habsburg Knights, who were also better equipped, according to the legend recounted by Edinburgh magazine in 1852 on Habsburg Knight Henry Hunenberg. Recognized the superiority of his forces and possibly concerned that victory over a rebel would be a disgrace. In act of a chivalry shot an arrow with a message attached into the Confederates' camp telling them that the Habsburg's forces would advance through Morgarten on the 15th of November and that they should return to their homes. In response, the Confederates prepared a roadblock and an ambush at the point between Lake Eggersee and Morgarten Pass. It's very narrow up there. If you ever are in Switzerland and you like hiking, it's actually, I recommend the hike there up there. It's very nice. where a small pass led between the steep slope and the swampy water. Or the swamp. Slope and the swamp. Well, there is no real swamp. Let's like more... It's not really swampy, but it's just a narrow thing. Probably maybe back then it was kind of swampy up there. When the Confederates attacked from above with rocks, logs, spears and halberds, the Habsburg Knights had no room to defend themselves and suffered a crushing defeat, while the foot soldiers in the rear fled back to the city of Zug. About 1,500 Habsburger soldiers were killed in the attack. According to Karl von Elgert, the Confederates, unfamiliar with the customs of battle between knights, brutally butchered and retreating troops and everyone unable to flee. He records that some infantry preferred to drown themselves in the lake rather than face the brutality of the Swiss. Yeah, we were brutal back then. I haven't read, I read it before, but I haven't read it in that details in quite a while. I remember when we had that part of our history in school, they told us about it, and yeah, especially the part with Einsiedeln, where we apparently slaughtered all the monks, if I remember that correctly from school. In the Abbey in Einsiedeln. So yeah, we were not very nice and friendly neighborhood farmers here in central Switzerland, apparently. But yeah, that's going to be it for a first kind of episode. I still don't know exactly how I'm gonna name this episode. I don't know. History Tuesday, Swiss Tuesday. I don't know. I'll do definitely another one with famous stuff in Switzerland. Maybe we go a little bit more into the history, what Switzerland did during the Second World War. I don't know yet. I will set up a Discord chat, like questions. You guys can ask questions in there if you're interested in learning stuff about Switzerland or about me, and we will see from where we go from there. But anyway, thank you very much for the idea, and I hope you guys enjoy. Like I said, it's a test. I don't know. I have never done something like this. Especially also the editing will be kind of interesting with all the material I will lay over this nice little sound I just recorded, speech I just recorded. So once again, thanks for watching, guys. I hope to see you in my next episodes or videos. See you next time. Bye-bye.